Starting with the loops in our today's lecture. So this is the structure of the loop. This is my code block. Then comes the test condition. If my test condition results in true, then loop of the body will get executed. If my test condition will get false, then my loop get exited and my code of block after the loop will get executed. So this is how the loops work. It is similar to the loops which you have studied in the C language. Now there are different control structures, that is the for loop and while loop in Python. So let's start with the first one, that is the for loop in Python. This is the syntax of the for loop. For as my keyword, this is my value. Over here you have to mention the variable name, then in as the keyword, and then the sequence, and then comes the body of the for loop. So let's write this particular code. Simple for loop. I am mentioning a for loop as for. Over here, suppose I am giving the list. Suppose my list variable contains the value from 1 to 5 and I am writing for I in as the keyword in list colon and I am printing the value of I. All the elements which I have in this particular list variable will get transferred to my new variable I and it will get iterate, and over here my value of I will get printed. So this is my value. All the elements of the list I have printed like this, that is 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Then comes the for loop with string. So let's write for loop with string. Suppose I am having my string variable, that is s equals to, I am writing hello, and I want a for loop. For that I am writing for I in my particular variable s, I want to print the value of I. So over here the colon is there. So you can see like this, whatever my string will be, all the elements get transferred into I one by one, and I am printing the value of I. So a single element of this string will get printed like this. Now the next is the for loop with the range function. The next is the for loop with the range function. So we can generate a sequence of number using the range function. So we have used this range function. So let's see what range of 10 is telling. So over here I am writing that range of 10 and I am storing range of 10 and I am storing this particular range into some R variable. That is range like this, and I'm storing into the R variable. And I'm printing now the value of R. So let's see what I'm getting. Okay, over here I have to write the range function like this. Range of 10. So I'm getting the value as range of 0 to 10. Now what if I mention over here that is 1 comma 10, then I'm getting the range as 1 to 10. If I does not mention any starting index, then whatever index you are giving, it will consider as the ending index or the ending value, you can say. Now if I am mentioning 1 comma 10 like this, or I am mentioning 4 comma 10 like this, then my value of range is 4 to 10. Now using the range I want to do the for loop. So over here, if you are mentioning the range function, only 10 you are writing, it means it is the ending value. If you are mentioning the range like this, that is the start, stop and step size, that is the 3 arguments within the range function, then accordingly you can write the for loop. So over here, if I am writing the for loop for this particular R, then I will write like this: for I in R, I want to print all the values of I. Then I will get the values from from 4 to 9, because I have mentioned over here the starting index as 4. If I mention over here the starting index as 0, that is 0 comma 10 is like this, So I will get all the numbers from 0 to 9. It will exclude the 10, so I am getting all the numbers, that is 10 minus 1. If I am writing like this, that is 6 comma 10, then I will get all the values from 6 to 10 minus 1. Now this values I am getting, it means it is similar to the for loop like this in the C language, that is for I equals to 0, or over here for I equals to 6, I is less than 10, and this is I plus plus, that is increment by 1. But what if I want increment by 3 like this? So for that you can mention over here the 3 like this. So you will get the output accordingly. So your starting index is 6 now, your ending index is 10 minus 1, and you are doing the increment by 3. You can also do the increment by 4 also. So I am writing over here 4 and like this 4. So you will get all the numbers from 0 to 10 minus 1, increment by 4 like this. Now the next program is you have to iterate through a list using the indexing. Now I want to do the iterating in the list using the indexing. So over here you can see this is my list, this is my for loop, my I variable, and I have used over here the range function. Within the range function I am passing the length of music. So my length of music will be 3. My length of music value will be 3. That is 3. So over here within the range function I have passed the value as 3. And I am printing first of all what is my value of I. So I will get my value of I as 0, 1 and 2. Now if I mention that is music of 0, so I will get my element as pop. Then music of 1 I will get my element as rock, and music of 2 I will get my element as jazz. So this for loop will get printed like this, that is I like pop, I like rock, and I like jazz. Now the next is for loop with else. So over here, this is your for loop. After your for loop gets over, then and then only your else part will be executed. So this is the for loop with else. So how to write that? For loop with else. So let's copy this particular program, and I am writing for loop with else over here. So over here the indentation is very necessary, so make sure that you have used the indentation. So in this all my digits get transferred into my variable value, variable named I. My I is printed. After my for loop gets over, my last line will get printed, that is the no items left. So I am getting the values as 0, 1 and 5 like this. This is the list, so your values will get printed directly. If it is some kind of other functions, then you have to mention the different positions. Now the next is a nested for loop. So that is the for loop within the for loop. So let's see the nested for loop. This is my for loop, and within that for loop I am having another for loop. So over here what will be the output? So just guess the output. I am writing like this, that is my value of x will be 1. Then my value of y will also be 1. My for loop value of x will be 1, then it enters into the for loop. Now my value of y is also 1. And in my output, I will get the output as 1 star 1 is equals to 1 into 1 is 1. Then in the next iteration, what will happen? This is the inner loop. So my value of y will get increment by 1. But my value of x is 1 as in the previous iteration. So my value of y is now 2. And in the output, I will get the value as 1 star 2 is equals to 2. So it will continue till the value of y I will get as 10. So at last my value of y will get 10 and I will be getting the output as 1 into 10 is 10. Then in the next iteration my this particular for loop gets over, that is my inner loop gets over. Then in the outer loop my controls come over here in my outer loop, and now my value of x will get increment by 1. So my value of x will now be 2. Now it will enter into the loop and my inner loop. Now my value of y is 1. So I'm writing my value of y is 1 like this, and what will be my output? My output will be like this, that is 2 cross 1 is equals to I'm getting 2. So like this it will continue, and I will get all the values from 1 to 10 for the variable x, and for all the values of 1 to 10 for the variable x, I am having the variable value y as 1 to 10. So you can see like this, your output will be like this, the table of 1, then comes my value of x will get increment by 1, then comes the table of 2, all the values of y from 1 to 10, for the value of x is 2, then my value of x will become 3, and for all the values of x as 3, I am having all the values of y from 1 to 10, and like this your output will get generated. So this is what the for loop with else is. Now the while loop. So we will see the while loop. So this is my simple structure with the while loop. So let's see what the while loop is. This is my syntax of the while loop, that is while as the keyword, then the test expression, and then the body of the while loop. Over here, make sure that you are writing colon, otherwise you will get the syntax error. So let's see the while loop. I want to add all the natural numbers to a particular variable sum. So I will write the program accordingly. Over here I am taking the input from the user. So let's see what will be there. So I am taking the input value from the user. So I am getting the value of 10 like this. Now after this you can check what is the type of my value n. So for that I will be using the type function. So you are getting that whatever value you are taking from the user, its type is string. So it is very necessary that if you want to perform the addition operation, then the number value should be of type integer. So for that I am doing the type conversion. So before the input statement I am writing the integer. So within the integer as the function as an argument, you can pass this particular your input statement like this. Now when you are running this particular code, now I am typing the value as suppose 41, and now I am checking the type of n. Now you are getting the type of n as integer. So you have converted the value from string to integer like this. Now I want to perform all the addition of all the numbers from 1 to n. Over here I am taking the value of sum equals to 0, initializing the value of I is equals to 1. I am checking the condition that I is less than or equals to n. For our program n is equals to 10, so 1 is less than 10, my condition gets true. I am calculating the sum, that is sum equals to sum plus 0, that is 0 plus 1 is 1, and 1 is stored into my sum variable. And I am incrementing the value of I by 1. And at last outside the while loop I am printing the sum. At last what is the value of the sum? So I want to print the sum of all the natural numbers from 1 to 10. So my final answer will be 55. If I am printing this while loop, this print statement inside the while loop, then you can see it will get iterate multiple times. But I want only the value of sum at last. So I am printing final answer, that is the total sum of all the natural numbers from 1 to 10. Over here in the while loop, we have initialization above the while loop, test condition with the while keyword, and you can perform either the increment or decrement. That statement you have to write inside the while loop. in the for loop in Python, when you are using the for loop with string or list, then over there the for loop gets incremented by 1 automatically. But if you want to perform in for loop, you want to perform that increment by 2 or increment by 3, then you have to use the range function with the for loop. You can also perform the decrement also in the for loop in Python by using the range function. Suppose over here I am writing that is my starting index is 10, my ending index is 0, and I want decrement by 1, that is -1. Then you can see my output is like this, that is 10, 9, 8, 7 till 1, because my 0 will be excluded, so it will take the range from 10 to 1. If I want the decrement by 2, then you can write like this, that is -2, that is 10, 8, 6, 4 and 2. Like this you can perform. Now the next is break and continue. So let's see what the break will do. So break statement will it takes the control outside of the loop. Suppose for an example, I am printing this for loop, that is for letter in Python. So every letter will get iterated into my this letter variable, and I am printing every letter, that is Python. Now I am writing the condition inside the for loop, that is if letter is equals to h. If the letter is found as h, then I want a break. It means I want to break the for loop and I want to come outside. So when I am running this program, then you can see that my P get executed successfully, Y and T. When my H is found, then this condition is checked, that is letter is equals to H becomes true, and then it will move inside the if block. So inside the if block I have written break. It means it will break the for loop and my control comes out, and then no statement is over here, then my output will be till P, Y and T. Suppose I am writing one statement over here, that is print, and I am writing suppose O. Then see over here what happens, my for loop breaks. After my for loop breaks, my control comes the over here, that is the statement outside the for loop. So this is how the break works. Now I am having the continue statement. What is the task of the continue statement? So let's read what is the task of the continue statement. The continue statements, it rejects all the remaining statements in the iteration of the loop and moves control back to the top of the loop. So what the continue statement will do, when the continue statement is found, the statements which are below the continue statement, it will be rejected, and from this continue statement my control will move back to the top of the loop. So if I am writing this continue statement, then let's see what happens. My P, Y and T will run normally. When H is found, then my condition becomes true. My continue statement will execute it. From this particular line, my control moves back to the for loop, the first line of the for loop, in first line of the for loop. So again my for loop will run. Now my O is found, O is not equals to H, so my print statement will be printed, that is my current letter is O and then my current letter is N. So when H is found, H is not printed, again my control moves back to the first line of the for loop. So this is how the continue statement works. Now next is the pass statement. In the pass statement, what we have to do, suppose over here I am writing the if statement, that is if 5 is less than 4. So this condition is false, so my statement of else block will be executed, that is hello. And over here I am writing the pass statement. Suppose I am not writing the pass statement over here, I want the if block empty. I don't want to write any code inside the if block. So when I am running such type of program, then it is showing me the syntax error. So in C language, if you do not want to write any code inside the if block, then you can write the if block like this, that is the empty if block. But over here in Python, we are not having such kind of curly brackets. So over here we are doing the indentation. So over here you are writing the pass statement. So what is pass statement? If you do not want to do anything, then just pass. So it works like that. So it is just passing and it will execute the else block. Now we will see write a Python code to demonstrate the calculator program. So I'm taking the two inputs from the user, I'm doing the type conversion, and I'm just writing addition, subtraction, multiplication and division. So when you are taking two inputs from the user, suppose I'm writing 5 and 7, then it will do addition, subtraction, multiplication and division. Very simple program it is. Now we are having the write a Python program for factorial. So I'm writing over here the Python program for a factorial. So I'm writing number equals to 5, initializing number equals to 5. Before that, what the factorial is. Suppose I want the factorial of a number 5, then I want to do is 1 into 2 into 3 into 4 into 5. So I will use the for loop for doing the multiplication. If I want the factorial of 6, then I want a multiplication from 1 to 6 like this. But suppose over here I want the factorial of 5. So what I am doing, I am initializing the number that I want factorial of 5. So I am writing number equals to 5. Initializing the factorial variable by 1. Now I am checking the condition. If the number is negative, then I am printing that factorial does not exist for the negative numbers. If the number is equals to 0, then I am printing that factorial of 0 is always 1. So I am writing the factorial of 0 is 1. Now if the number is positive, then and then only this else block will be executed. And what I am writing, the code that is for I in range of, I am writing 1 comma number plus 1. Why I am writing 1 comma number plus 1? Because it will take 1 comma 6 as the value. So it will take 1 comma 6 as the value. So this 6 will be excluded and my value will be taken from 1 to 5 like this. So I am writing this 1 comma number plus 1. If I am not writing number plus 1, then it will take the range that is 1 to 5 and my output will be only till 4, that is 1 into 2 into 3 into 4. But I want 5 also, so I am writing the code as number plus 1. Then I am doing that is factorial, that is 1. 1 into 1 is 1. Then my 1 will be incremented and what it incremented. So my value of I will now gets increment by 1. So my value of I becomes 2. That is 1 into 2 is 2. It is stored. Then 3. Then multiplication with 4 and then multiplication with 5. Whatever the final answer will be, that of the multiplication will be stored in my factorial variable. Now I am printing this factorial, that is the value of the factorial outside the for loop. So I am getting the answer, the final answer as the 120. If you are printing this statement inside the for loop, then you can see that initially my value of factorial was 1, then my value of factorial becomes 2, then my value of factorial becomes 6, that is 2 into 3 is 6, then my value of factorial becomes 4, that is 6 into, that is 1 into 2 into 3 into 4 is 24, and then my final answer is 120. So I want just a final answer, so I am printing like this.